entrepreneurs are trying to invent business models. And there's basically two methods for that. There's the bootstrap and there's the funding route. And so if you frame it that way, you know, what I like about the bootstrap, first of all, is it's evolution. It's how the universe makes species. It tries, it fails, it adapts, it reiterates, it comes back. It's hey, put something out there, test it in a thing, try it, get feedback. If you do that little loop 1,000 times, you slowly iterate to a working business model.
People always say, what was your plan when you started this? And the real answer is there was no plan. Like so many good ideas, the idea pulls you in, forms itself. You go out there and you start something, and along the way you find all these fascinating things, and these interesting events happen to you, and you start to move down a pathway and you identify opportunities.
I couldn't believe no one had done it. So I became a student of what would it take to do that. I then threw myself into a headlong process of literally, an insane number of hours to become a student of what would it take to build an economic, scalable, global business that could enable everyone in the world who had access to the web and the princely sum of $10 or $12 to be published authors. What would that take?
Knowledge and foresight in the entrepreneurial space, for us at least at this stage, is more valuable than capital. I've never crashed a company before, but many of the people in the audience and many of the entrepreneurs that are there have both started companies and crashed them, and there's experiences that come from that, and an understanding of how things work and what to do and what not to do.
I think some of it is just, you go back to these communities don't have the role models for these large-scale companies. They don't have the role models for technology growth. They don't see things that start small and grow big. They might see, again, a big General Motors comes and puts a plant, but that's not a role model, right? Because it's already whatever General Motors is, $60 billion company coming in.
I think a lot of women entrepreneurs, and I'm probably speaking in huge generalities, but build kind of a $10 million valuation company. And that's in itself, you're not going to get VC funding for anything $10 million. You got to be a 50 million plus 10x company to even talk to a VC. And I think a lot of women don't dream big enough. And it becomes kind of a lifestyle business. We're very...
Don't use that phrase. It has very quickly become this very derogatory term, and unfortunately, a lot of the time it's used to apply to businesses that women build. I agree with you,
yes.
Women don't think big enough.
They're not going
but
to 50 mil.
I think part of the problem right now is just getting them to start their own businesses. Let's not discourage them out of the gate by saying, oh, but it has to be a $50 million business or it doesn't count.
It was interesting because, people talk about founders working 12-hour days and 20-hour days, and during Y Combinator, it was very hit and miss because we didn't have a strong enough vision. We didn't have a strong enough path to know exactly what to be working on, and I hate working on the wrong thing. So there were a couple of days when I'd say, well, what should I be working on now? I have absolutely no clue. So it was a little hectic in that respect.
It was a windy road. It wasn't necessarily a straight path because neither one of us knew what we were doing. There's no other way to say it.
At the time that I did it, I was the breadwinner in my family. My wife was still in law school, so I was the only one that had an income when I decided to quit and start this business. So if the business would have failed, my whole family would have failed. It's a reminder, constant reminder to me that this is not about me.
Yeah.
This is bigger than me.
I would have loved to have had a mentor that could say, okay, here's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
But over the years, I've collected that. So, on the flip side, I'm glad I had to go through the hard times, the good times, learning, because, see, I can teach that now to people. I can say, no, that's not going to work because I did that,
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate that I had to go through what I had to go through because that's the only way we learn.
If I had gone nonprofit, I think it would have been easier at the start, to get the seed funding. It would have been harder long term. This way, starting as a for-profit, I mean, there is no funding entity out there who is an angel funder who funds global women's health projects. There just is no one. So I have to convince people.
An entrepreneur's job is to dive headfirst into a really, really risky undertaking and systematically de-risk it. Identify what are the 6 main ways this could fail and what can I do about, okay, 3 of them I can't control, but these 3 I can. Let me make progress towards that.